What's going on, people? It is Irish Gunner HD here. You can call me Irish. Welcome to episode 28 of Will It Drift. So, today's car is the Ford Escort RS as suggested by my buddy Deco Burn 106. Cheers for the suggestion, man. Let's get into it. So, as standard, the car comes with 224 horsepower, 224 as well foot-pounds of torque, and it weighs 2,811 pounds. Now, I found that it was very slow off the line. It was not very quick at all. The combination of the lack of speed and the way that in real life at least it's built to be like a grippy kind of track car, I found it to be just that. It's very grippy. It also feels very stiff. When you're driving the stock for the stock Escort, you can see like very clearly what makes it such a good fun track car or straight line racer or whatever you want to call it. It's very good. It's very like it moves on a dime in like straight directions and around corners, like facing straight. But when you're trying to drift with it, that's not really what you want, obviously. So that was kind of a negative point about it. Then I found that third gear was not an option at all, and when you were in second, if the drift lasted longer than about 3 or 4 seconds, you'd kind of just automatically the speedo just went down. It just slowly went down over time. So third or second gear was your only option, but even at that, you could not drift for longer than a couple of seconds, and that's mainly down to the grippiness of the car and the lack of power and torque in Forza terms, of course. Then for the medium build, you see here, I left it the same looking, although it's lowered, because I added for the mods, I did all drivetrain and platform and handling to race and race cams, and I left the wheels, the stock wheels all the way through, just because I prefer the look of them. I think they look awesome. Now for the medium build, oh crap, I didn't okay, so I don't know exactly how much the medium build is. I forgot to write that down. Damn, that's my bad. Apologies. But my thoughts on it anyway. At least for like, it's basically, you can do it yourself if you want to have a look, see what power it's running now. It's essentially the stock build, but slightly faster and less stiff and less grippy, if you know what I mean. So it literally every little like kind of thing that was in the stock build, it was the exact same. It was really weird. Everything, even though third gear was now an option, it still had the same problem that second gear did, where as soon as you hit third gear, you could drift in it for a couple of seconds and then it would just automatically bog down and eventually slow down until you weren't drifting anymore. Third gear, like, so as I said, you just start losing speed. So there's not, like, again, there was not really too much more to say on that, because I'd literally just be repeating exactly what I said for the first build. I was a bit surprised to see how poor it was, though, if that makes sense. Like, I was expecting a better change out of putting in those kind of modifications, but there wasn't much of one. Now I changed it to the stock manufacturer metallic blue kind of color and left those wheels because that's the iconic Escort RS look in my opinion. And now it has 430 horsepower, 357 foot-pounds of torque, and it weighs 2,074 pounds. And it has of course a full build and tune rather. And it's pretty good. It's quick off the line with a fair amount of speed. You get to the corner like very quickly. And when you do, I found that I was able to throw it in any kind of fashion that I wanted. I usually, when I'm testing out the car, I test it like very carefully just to kind of get like a nice stable drift out of it. And then like I also throw it in as backwards as possible and see how well it can handle those kind of things and everything in between. And I found that, yeah, you could throw it in backwards pretty easily. You could throw it in any kind of way that you want and you could still kind of control it. Although while you're actually drifting and once you've thrown it in, it takes lots of micro corrections. You're constantly moving the wheel, like adjusting the pedals and stuff like that. It requires a lot of skill to drive, which I like. Unlike something like a Skyline or whatever like that, or Supers or whatever, it takes a lot. It takes a good bit of skill to be able to keep sideways, go sideways, get a decent speed while you're going sideways and stuff. So overall, it was an enjoyable drive, not quite as predictable, as stable as a Silvia would have been, but still a lot more so than a lot of the other cars that I've done for Will It Drift. But Will It Drift? Maybe. I've changed up the format as you've probably seen, so it's not perhaps anymore, and there's no Peter Griffin, but maybe. I find if you're someone with my kind of medium skill level or above with tuning and drifting, you should be fine. You should be able to get it to work more than well enough. You are still going to be in the kind of bottom rung of like drifters and stuff, like or not drifters, but like drift cars in public lobbies. You're still only going to be able to hang with like the lower powered cars like AE86s and Silvias and stuff like that. And even at that, a lot of them, if they've got good drivers, will outperform you. But it definitely will. I think that's pretty much all I have to say about it. It's enjoyable. It takes a lot of skill to drive, and it's just people that aren't quite as skilled drivers or aren't quite as skilled tuners and builders probably would struggle with it. I know I definitely used to back in Forza 3 when they first put it in as DLC. I struggled with it quite a bit, but now that I've gotten slightly better, I'm more able to handle it now. So that's about it. If you enjoyed it, please do leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new here. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.